If you're an aspiring web designer, then look no further. You have found the exact video to help you learn what you should be doing from 1 month to the next when you're building and launching a web design business. Hi, I'm Paige, and I'm going to break this down for you so simply. The truth is, really all you need to do is answer 3 questions when you're becoming a website designer. First is, what am I offering? Second is, who to? And third is, how will I reach that person? When you answer these 3 questions, you basically complete the Venn diagram of any business. Circle 1 is your offer, circle 2 is your ideal client, and circle 3 is your marketing strategy. Because you clicked on this video, I can tell that you've already basically decided what it is you're going to offer, and that is web design services. But what you might not have yet is the actual skill of website design. If you're like me, you never actually went to college or university for computer science or anything tech or graphic design related, and so you might have a few valid fears around what would happen when a client asks you what your degree is in and where you went to school for website design. Well, I'm happy to report that that's a fear that a lot of aspiring website designers have, and the truth is that I actually got asked a grand total of 0 times by clients those questions. And since then, I've gone on to teach over 5,000 people how to be website designers. And that's a very common thing, which like new students, they're really worried about that. And they ask me about like, how should they deal with or answer that question? And I chatted with a ton of past students about this. And every single time, all the past students are like, yeah, no one's actually ever asked me that. So looks like it's something which a lot of us worry about, but isn't actually a very, let's say, grounded in reality type fear. My past students who became website designers literally started off as like past figure skaters and accountants and stay-at-home moms, and they have all become website designers because truly it is something that you can learn from home in an online course or some tutorials. So let's talk about how exactly to learn the skill of website design. If you have some budget to put behind it, then definitely a course is the fastest way to get going as a website designer. My Square Secrets course is open for enrollment a couple times a year. However, there are many different web designer courses out there, so you can actually learn the technical skills. It is also dependent on which platform you want to learn as to which course you should actually take. The other thing you should really make sure of is that you actually like the teacher who you're learning from and you can stand to listen to them for like 10 hours, because to learn the skill truly and thoroughly, a lot of courses tend to be that long. The other thing you want to make sure of is that you actually personally vibe with the person who you're learning from and you maybe find them entertaining, because you're about to spend a lot of time listening to that person talk in some videos. So I would recommend you think about that too. Do comment below if this is actually you, that you might have even already started on the task of the whole learning the web design skill. I find that actually a lot of people who decide to get into the web design industry, they decided to do so because in some other job or role that they had, they were just handed the task of like, hey, go edit this website or update this thing. And then they got into a website builder and realized they actually love playing around with the website and redesigning things. And so that is often why they have the idea of maybe I should be a website designer. So oftentimes, a lot of you might even have more skills than you realize at this because you have actually potentially been practicing this already. Now, we talked about what to do if you have some budget to put behind it, but if that is not the case, no worries, you can still get going in this. There are some incredible tutorials on YouTube, so definitely recommend binging those. And then of course, just go into the actual website builder which you've chosen and start practicing on the thing. Making demo websites on your platform of choice is a totally valid way of starting to learn, and is definitely something I did at the beginning, because honestly, back in the day, there weren't any courses to help me. Even if you are doing it the budget-friendly way with tutorials and practice, I would definitely recommend that at some point, when maybe you've taken on a few projects and therefore you've made some income from this, I would definitely still recommend taking a course at some point in the future, because tutorials will teach you a lot of the tech stuff, but not so much like the strategy behind websites and the conversion best practices and the design best practices. And that tends to be the thing which people are often missing if they don't take a course. So at some point when the budget allows, would recommend. Okay, so let's say that you're doing some sort of online course right now, or maybe you just binged every single tutorial on YouTube and then gone and done some practice with making some mock trial websites. Then the second thing that you need to do in that first month is answer the question of who it is that you want to serve with your services. No, I am not telling you to pick a niche from day one, but what I am saying is that when you just start going in the direction of a niche, and I have a really easy way for you to figure this out. So look around at other website designers and other web design agencies that are out there right now. And think about if you wanted to go get a job, if you didn't want to run your own business, but you wanted to work for someone else, who of all of those web design agencies, which of all those web design agencies or other website designers would you want to work for the most? And then take note of what are the projects that they're working on? Who are the clients that they're working with? That can give you a really good idea of what is the niche direction, let's say, that I might like to go in. So again, think about what about this specific web designer who I would want to work for? What is it that attracts me to their business? What is it about the work that they're doing or the personality of the brand do I really like and appeals to me? I would say that answering that question is probably the easiest way to start getting an idea of who it is that you might like to work with. Now, I'm not saying that you have to choose something super specific right now, but let's be real, there is a big difference between designing websites for people in the construction industry versus people in the natural wellness business industry, or designing websites for corporate accountants or dentists or minimalist businesses or businesses with a really bold, colorful, look and feel like, say, coming to mind, Drunk Elephant, actually. So while you do not need to pick and marry a niche today, what I will say is that picking a niche direction maybe is a very useful thing to figure out in month 1. And making this decision is really going to help with the work that you have to do in month 2 and 3, and you will see why in a moment. So month number 2, let's get you some real actual projects to work on. Now, the absolute easiest way of doing this is reaching out to your friends and family and anyone who you've ever met, basically, and letting them know what it is that you're starting to do, and that is that you're offering web design services. Now, in an ideal world, you would find some sort of friend or family member who has a business or needs a website in the general direction of the type of people or industry or design style or niche that you realize maybe I want to serve that specific group. Now, why exactly is this helpful? Because this project, which you're about to do, can be a portfolio piece for you. And if you want to work with bright and fun and colorful and young brands, like Drunk Elephant, for example, and you have a friend or family member who wants a website with that style and vibe, then that is the perfect project to take on. And that is definitely worth your time doing versus maybe your Uncle Gary who wants a website for his woodworking business, for example. However, if rustic and natural is your vibe, then you would be a lot better off choosing to do Gary's project than maybe Jane's playful, colorful personal brand. Now, a good starter portfolio for a website designer could have maybe, let's say, like 3 pieces in it. So 3 different website projects. Now, as you build these out, these different websites, I want you to start observing what is it that you liked about serving, for example, Aunt Stacy? What did you like about building her website, but not about Cousin Sarah's website that you built? As you're doing these first initial projects, you're always going to be sort of like informing yourself and reflecting back to determine which, again, niche direction would you like to go in? Do you want to stay in the one that you already picked, or did you learn something in this project which makes you realize, oh no, actually want to take a hard right? The goal is basically to always be informing yourself through these projects of exactly what it is that's bringing you joy and what you want to do more of in the future. Now, I know, it can be very scary to reach out to people and then tell them that you're starting to offer this, but truly, I think you're about to find that so many of your friends and family are going to deeply appreciate and love the fact that you are now offering this, because you don't even know until you get into it just how many people need a website these days, and they're going to be exceptionally grateful to have someone to help them with it. So you can do these projects paid, you can do them for free, you can do them for discounted rates. The most important thing, however, is that you are getting a testimonial and a portfolio piece. And let's be real, also building up the confidence in yourself, that is also a major part and reason to do this. Okay, so let's say it's the end of month 2 and you have a whole portfolio of fabulous pieces now. And so let's move on to month number 3. In month 3, you want to basically answer the question, how will I reach them? So you pretty much want to pick your marketing strategy and get started with it. Now, depending on how well socially connected you are, you might find that you can just get a good number of projects just from your own friends and family. But let's be real, that method is not something to count on for forever. A little while back, I did a survey of 770 website designers, and I asked them the question of how do they get clients in their business and how do they market their business? 10% did it through Facebook, 16% through Instagram, 3% through LinkedIn, 3% through freelancer websites, 34% through referrals, 6% through networking events, 3% through cold pitching, 12% through SEO/blogging and content marketing, 2% through Pinterest, and 5% also got clients through other methods. And these are typical things like speaking or business networking groups or PR. I do want to let you know of something fabulous coming up soon. If you're watching this video just when it goes live, then you still do have a chance to register for this live event. It is the Profitable and Productive Web Designer Bootcamp, and it is happening April 15th, 16th, and 17th inside of our private Facebook community, where I'm going to share with you 3 days of amazing trainings, and one entire day is literally just dedicated to helping you figure out which marketing strategy is right for you. Again, the event is live, so if it is currently before the 15th of April when you're watching this, then click the link below ASAP and get yourself registered. And together, we will figure out which of all of these different marketing options is actually going to be the one to lead you to an avalanche of clients. Now, if it is after the 15th of April and you've missed the live event, I do have something else that could also help you. I have a quiz called Which Client Finding Method Matches Your Personality Type. You can find it at paigebretton.com/quiz, and it will help give you an indication of which marketing strategy you're actually going to enjoy and therefore will be able to stick with for the long term. Okay, so picking the marketing strategy is just one thing, but actually implementing it is quite another. Now, this is again where it comes down to the question of how much money do you have to put behind this? If you do have some budget, then this is what I would highly recommend. Go find a course from the expert on whatever the marketing strategy is that you have chosen to do. Whether it is, if it's blogging, go find the expert on blogging. If you've chosen Instagram, go find the expert on Instagram. If you've chosen referral networking, then go find the expert on referral networking to help you out and just basically give you like a proper marketing plan that you can just stick with and actually implement the strategy. Now, if of course you're building the business on a budget, then similar to the learning the skills thing that we talked about earlier, you can find so much good free content online these days to help you get started. And then of course you want to dedicate your time to actually practicing the strategy that you've chosen. Now, the next thing that I want you to do is to pick a cadence and frequency of which you're going to implement this marketing strategy. Committing to it however much you can realistically fit into your life is typically the clearest route to success. Just committing to doing your marketing strategy however often you just kind of get around to it isn't really as clear of a route to success as picking an actual frequency and trying your darndest to actually stick to it. Now, when it comes to your marketing strategy, one way which most new business owners often make a mistake is they set goals on the outcome of the marketing strategy. For example, I want to get 3,000 Instagram followers by the end of 3 months. Now, the problem with this is pretty obvious. You don't actually have a ton of control over whether or not you hit that goal, but what you do have control over is how much input you put in. That is how many reels you post or how many stories you put out there, and that frequency is what you can actually control. So pick your cadence and frequency and then judge yourself not based off of the outcome, but based off of the input. Now, the reason that I say this is because so many business owners have highly unrealistic expectations at the beginning as to how quickly they can grow something, a following, for example, and then they get really discouraged when it doesn't happen, when it truly wasn't that they're not doing a good job, it's that they maybe picked an unrealistic number which they wanted to hit, which just anyone would fail at achieving. Of course, over time, you will want to start tracking and recognizing, is the amount of input which you're putting in leading to the results that you want? If not, then that might be time to readjust and figure out how you can change the level of input or improve on the strategy. But truly, don't beat yourself up for the result because it is a road leading to a lot of hard feelings. So now you know your steps of what you want to be doing each of the 3 months. What about figuring out your process and your pricing and figuring out if you want to offer some services other than maybe just one-to-one custom full website builds? Now, those are some really good questions which you should start thinking about right now, but I realize that figuring them out can be a little bit difficult to do solo. So again, know that on days 1 and 2 of the Profitable and Productive Web Designer Bootcamp, we're actually going to talk about determining your offerings and your pricing and setting a process and setting boundaries with your clients and managing all the content collection process and all of those little things that you basically need to think of when you set up a new business. Again, the event is live April 15th, 16th, and 17th, so head to the link right here or in the description below and click to get yourself registered.